What's up, Hawks? It's your boy Hawk. Welcome back to another episode of Hawk's Podcast. Let's go. Same. How we doing? Yeah. Let's go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, yo, what's up, Hawks? It's your boy Hawk. Welcome back to another episode of Hawk's Podcast. This is episode 40 of the series. This is the intro to the podcast. So, I hope you guys having a great April 2024 so far. Spring season, spring quarter 2024. So, I'm recording the intro a few days after I recorded the main part of this podcast episode because I want to get like a current recording before I drop this podcast episode, which is going to be dropping the same day I'm recording this, which is the 8th or midnight around like 9 on the 9th of April. So it depends, but anyways, it's going to drop within today or tomorrow. Either way, it's going to drop within the next like 24 hours. So this is going to be the first episode of spring season. Let's go, man. It's spring. And it's already deep into spring. It's like a couple weeks since the season started. So anyways, I'm going to record like a proper like introduction to spring in the next coming weeks. This is just like a something to hold myself over until I get back to recording like a full episode, just recording the intro, the reaction, all that at once. So anyways, happy spring 2024. This is going to be the first episode of the podcast for the season, episode 40. Yes, sir. Let's go. Alright, the video I'm going to react to in this podcast episode is Learning a New Language is Easy, Actually. By Easy Actually. This came out 2 weeks ago. Still fresh, still new. And yeah, I want to try something different for this podcast episode. To start off the spring season, spring 2024. You know, it's April. I thought, why not I try something different for this podcast episode to start off the season. So, anyways, let's get straight into the video. This is my first time watching this. It's actually my first time watching this channel. So, let's see what we got right here.
Learning a language is actually very easy. You start off by watching this video right here. Then you stare at this screen. Then you pick a language you have no business learning. Do one lesson. Forget about it. Then search up videos about how to learn that language in 6 weeks, made by a YouTuber who learned it in 6 years. But if you want to actually learn a language, you have to make sure you're not doing it for the
It's
wrong
got a casually explained vibe.
Sure, if you learned a hard enough language, it would probably impress a lot of strangers, and it would probably get you a lot of views on YouTube. Subscribers too. I think some people even make money from it. But if you're a beginner, you should really be picking a language that's easy enough for you to actually enjoy learning it. You shouldn't pick a language if you're going to treat it like a chore. So, to maximize your chances of success, here's
Swahili's level 3?
popular languages ranked by how much time it takes for an English speaker to learn them. If you're not sure what language you should start learning, I would just pick either Spanish, French, or Portuguese. Not only are they the easiest for English speakers, but many countries speak one of these as an official language. I don't know why, but it's probably just a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
However, if you do want to go for a harder language, it is possible. Just remember to ask yourself, do I really have the right motivation?
Is my motivation
For
there?
example, wanting to understand anime is not going to motivate you to learn Japanese for more than a day. However, my friends speak Spanish and I want to understand them is a pretty good motivator, because that's probably why they made a group chat without you. Some people have to take a language class for school.
Right.
That by itself is not a great motivator, because your finger might slip and you might accidentally paste all your assignments into Deep L. However, the British invaded my country and I need English to survive. It's time for the easy part, which is learning it. Usually, people on the internet will tell you that the fastest method to learn any language is to get a language partner, or a tutor, or a friend who's willing to sit down with you and talk to you like a baby until you start picking up words and sentences. And while this is probably the fastest way, it requires human interaction. So instead, here's a method that you can do all by yourself, at home, to become fluent in a language. The first step is learning the basics. This is actually a very easy step, but many people try to skip it by doing 1 or 2 Duolingo lessons. Other people get stuck on the language learning side of YouTube, watching 138 videos about how to learn Korean. none of which include a single word of Korean. But the whole time, all you really had to do was find a beginner textbook for that language that has practice exercises for you to do. It might take you a month to finish the whole thing, but the progress you'll make is equal to about 2 years of Duolingo, or about 12 years of school in America, and you can find these books for free just by Googling beginner, then the language, textbook PDF.
Oh,
and
really?
there you go.
Wow.
You could also just get them from the library, or as they say in France, the library. The library. Isn't the library fun to say? Imagine if you Googled it. Once you finish the beginner book, it's time to practice listening. You don't even have to worry about speaking right now, because first, you need to learn what the language is actually supposed to sound like. The easiest way to do this is by watching YouTube videos in that language. The idea behind this is that you're not going to understand everything, but by looking at the video and using context clues from what you do understand, you can slowly pick up the language without even realizing. This works especially well because every language only has a few thousand words that are actually used in regular conversation. So over time, you'll start recognizing the same few words and phrases in every video you watch. And you can really pick anything to watch, as long as it's interesting and you can understand at least 30% of it. If you put on a video and it sounds like gibberish, it's not your fault. They're just talking too fast. This is probably because they're trying to gatekeep their language. Do not let them do this. To fix it, just go to the YouTube search bar and add the magic word easy. And just like that, you get served up a bunch of videos that you can understand. Automatic captions also help a lot, because you can rewind and look up the words you don't know. There are even websites like Reverso Context, where you can look up a word or phrase and actually see it used in a real sentence. But whatever you do, do not turn on English subtitles. Many people who try to learn Japanese, for example, watch anime. This is not a bad way to learn Japanese, but people who turn on English subtitles will just read the subtitles, and even though they think they're learning Japanese, in 5 years, all they'll have to show for it is this profile picture and a Discord Nitro subscription.
Yeah, I'm calling out people
in
this one.
You've been using subtitles in the right language, and you can now understand at least 70% of everything you watch. It's time to unleash step 3, which is speaking. To start speaking, just keep watching YouTube, except now, you pause after each important sentence and repeat it out loud, or at least whisper it. Try to pretend like you're having a real conversation with an actual person, and even think of different possible situations where you could use the sentence. Whenever you find a sentence that sounds really useful, write it down in a notebook. You're probably never going to look at that notebook ever again, but it's nice to get some writing practice. Now, at any point in this entire process, once you feel ready to start speaking, sit down and record yourself talking to a camera, and just talk about your day, stuff you did, stuff you're looking forward to, and even ask a couple questions to the imaginary person on the other side. If you ever forget how to say something, fill it in with English and move on. Later, you can watch the recording back and look up whatever you didn't know how to say using Deep L or Reverso Context. To an outsider, this might look like a lonely way to learn a language, but if you've ever heard someone say they're self-taught, this is exactly what they were doing. And that's all there is to it. If you keep reading about the language, watching YouTube, and talking to a camera for long enough, you'll become fluent without ever having to talk to an actual person.
Oh, really?
Congratulations. But one day in the future, you'll probably have to travel, and you'll eventually have to talk to native speakers. And all you have to do is just learn the culture and keep up with the politics. For example, if you ever visit France, this is what you might expect to see, but what you'll actually see is hundreds of French farmers driving their tractors into the capital to form a blockade. If you stop a Frenchman on the street to ask what happened, he'll just tell you that this is a normal day in France. French people use creative protest as a way to pass the time, and you clearly must have not read about it using Ground News.
Ground News, okay, I've heard of that before.
Ground get 30% off.
Shout out to the sponsor of the video.
Today.
Shout out to Ground News.
I was also going to ask you to subscribe, but the number can't fit in the circle anymore.
Okay, that was a great video. That was entertaining. That was informative. I really learned a lot about languages. And me personally, I've been wanting to learn a language, like, for a while now, and actually, like, stick with it. I learned Spanish in high school. I took Spanish for, like, 1 semester in middle school, and then I dropped out, or around 1 semester. I took a little bit of Spanish in middle school, but I really started taking Spanish in high school. I took 2 classes. Okay, so I took a class in 9th grade, I took a class in 10th grade, and then I completely just forgot about like most of what I learned in Spanish 1 and 2, in 9th and 10th grades respectively. And then I took a Swahili class in this past school year, not this school year, but last school year. In my junior year of university, I took a Swahili class, and I remember more of that than I do the Spanish. And it's probably because I am from Africa, so I know more Swahili than I do Spanish. Well, about the same amount, I guess you'd say, because I barely know how to speak both languages, properly. Although I presented in Swahili before, so using basic languages and sentences, so it's not completely out of the realm for me to know more Swahili. Plus, I have some heritage in Africa. So, but anyways, this video, go and give it a like. I'm gonna save this to my favorites because that's a great video. I'm really gonna go back to this one and really consider what he's saying, and I'll subscribe. You know what I'm saying? How to learn a language in 1-2 languages with no effort. Be born with parents who speak it. Be born with parents who speak it. Be a baby. ? Language learn. Exactly. That's the main thing for real. I mean, you have to be in the environment. That's why I know more Swahili than I do Spanish. Because, I have that East African heritage, as opposed to some other people who may know more Spanish because they grew up in that type of environment, but they never really spoke it like that. Same thing with me. I barely speak Swahili, but I do understand, the basics. So, regardless, that was a great video. We get to the ending. And so hope you guys enjoyed that commentary, that reaction to the content I just watched, which is learning about a new language, which I still agree that it is super beneficial to learn a new language. No matter how you get it, it can increase your income, it can increase a whole bunch of things. So that's what I discussed in that podcast clip that I recorded a few days ago. But anyways, hope you guys have a great day, night, evening, whenever you're watching this. I'll see you guys in episode 41. Let's get it this spring season. Let's get this bag. Let's get this cash. You know what I'm saying? It is time. Let's get this cash. Let's get it, man. This spring season. This spring 2024, man. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. I thought I mentioned this because it's topical. Today's a solar eclipse, and I found out you can't look directly at the sun, which I knew before, obviously, because we had a solar eclipse in 2017. I was around like 15 years old when that happened. So, I've seen solar eclipse before, you know what I'm saying? But you can't even take a picture of the joint. They got it on they got it on the website, on NASA website, so I don't have to, take a picture of it. But I don't have the glasses, so I wish I could have seen it. It actually peaked around like 10 minutes ago. I'm recording this in the morning of April 8th, 2024. It's 11:38 a.m. 39 a.m. now. So that was like 10 minutes ago since it peaked out here on the West Coast in Seattle. So I mean, and look, I may see it. I'm actually gonna go out soon, so within the next hour or so I might see it. But anyways, solar eclipse 2024. The world was supposed to end. I'm not even gonna talk about that. All right. Anyways, peace out. Till next day. Have a blessed day. God bless. All right. Peace out. This song got me in the school mood right now. All right. Yes, sir. All right. Thanks for watching. 2K24.